Hello folks, and welcome back. This video is going to pick up on the last video that I posted, which was getting into that disaster bathroom where I tore apart, repaired some rotten floors and whatnot. And I'll put a description, or a link to that video at the end of this video, so you can go back and see that one. And this is just carrying on from that. So in this video, we're going to carry on with that, put in the bathtub, put in the handle, the shower handles, the tap set, do some drywalling, some tile backer, install some recessed lighting. So in this video, folks, I made a pretty big mistake when I was doing the work, and I discovered what I had done. And it's a good thing that I discovered that what I'd done there, because if I wouldn't have discovered it and corrected it, it would have cost me a lot of time and money down the road, to fix it. And so, I thought about taking that footage out and editing it out, and then just putting in the video in the footage that has the corrections in it. But instead, I thought, this channel is about helping people with projects, whether you're doing it yourself or whether you're hiring somebody else to do it for you. And, this is real. We make mistakes, and, this is one that I made, which was pretty significant. And so I decided to leave that footage in there. You're going to see the error that I made, and then you're going to see how I fixed it. And yeah, so, a bit of a learning experience for all of us, for me and for you watching it. And so, yeah, so here we go. Stay tuned. Okay folks, so picking up on our last video, we're carrying on with this bathroom renovation here. If you missed that video where we did all the roughing work and repaired the floor in here, I'll put a link in the description so you can go back and have a look at that if you're interested. But we're moving right along, and the next thing up now is we're going to install the bathtub. So our little alcove is all ready there. And when you get a bathtub, you have to do a little preparation work. So this is the bathtub that's going in. This is the old one that we took out. Whoever did this one dropped something in it and did a nice chip in it. Other than that, it's a good tub. But we're putting a deeper one in. This is a acrylic tub, so it's a much nicer tub than that. That's a pretty low-end tub. So this has got hand armrests and stuff like that. But you have to prepare it for for the alcove. And one of the things that you have to do is get the drain installed. So you can see where I've got it installed. So the drain and overflow, and it comes as a little kit. You buy this little kit and you put it together, and this is what it looks like. So you have to do all that before you put it in the alcove, because it's pretty hard to do that once it's in there. And then once it's in there, then we'll connect the drain into the house plumbing. But that's all glued together and set and ready to go. So that's kind of the next thing. A bit of a wrestling match to get it in there, but yeah, that's next up. All right, so I got the tubs installed now, and this was really easy because everything is pretty level in here. If it's not level, then it can be more of a challenge. But this was, I basically just sat it in there and pushed it in. So what I've done is this particular tub has a tile flange here. The tile will come down over that onto the tub, and that helps to make it watertight. So all I've done is just drilled through the tile flange into the studs. I've got studs behind here, and then you can see my studs on the end. And just drilled those with a 5/32 hole. Just bored them out with a little countersinking bit. And then use some 2-inch deck screws. Those ceramic coated ones, they don't rust, so I like to use them for here. But anywhere there's a stud, I just screwed it in. And so now I'm working on and I've mounted my tub spout, so that's the spout there. And I've got the shower spout mounted up there. And so now I have to mount the tap set. So all of these pipes that are coming down into here now have to get attached to my tap set. And so again, there's some prep work that has to be done with that. And so I'll show you what I've got going here. So this is my shower valve right here, and it comes like, it doesn't come with any of this copper here. So you have to somehow, you got to adapt it to make it fit however your hookup is, whatever plumbing you're using. So I'm using PEX, so I have to transition out of this thing to PEX. Now there's several ways that you can do this. This is the way I choose to do it. I like to use the copper because it makes a rigid set. So once this is all soldered together, it's going to be nice and rigid in there. I hate these taps where you go up and you pull them and everything moves. So I am coming out of the valve with tubing, and then I'm going to terminate into a fitting here that transitions me to my 1/2-inch PEX. So these will just crimp on then. Now, if you don't want to do the soldering, you don't have to. There's a fitting that you can screw on here. So this copper fitting goes into the fitting. It's designed that way. Copper tube into there. Otherwise, you can use this threaded fitting and use a half by half female PEX adapter to go from the pipe thread to the PEX. And just do that here, and then you would go with PEX, 1/2-inch PEX, and use a PEX 90, and then down to your supply. But yeah, I kind of enjoy doing a little soldering once in a while, and yeah, so I'm doing it this way. It's just the way I like to do it. All right, so I've got my bathtub all roughed in now, screwed in. The drain is in. It's not connected, but I'm going to do that from the other side. I'll cut a hole on the other side of the wall there and come in from that side and connect up the drain. So that's the only thing we'll have left is the drain. But here's my shower set all roughed in. Okay, and that's ready to turn the water on. So this is why I like to do the copper, because you can see, I like to anchor this thing in here nice and solid, so you can see it's really solid, eh? And by going with the copper, it gives me places that I can, strap it back to, just to make it solid. And so the valve itself has a screw there and a screw underneath here to, screw into your backing. So now, folks, I'm not going to get into much of the details here, but you have to be careful on where you set this in and out, and it's going to depend on your valve. So that you have to look ahead so that when you put your tile backer on and then ultimately your tile, that your tap is going to end up in the right place in and out. So that's a very important little detail that you have to take care of. Kind of the same thing with your tub spout. You got to make sure you got enough here so that your tub spout will go on there and not be too short. All right, so now I'm going to carry on here. I'm ready to do drywall and tile backer. So that's my next job now. I'm going to get into that. All right, folks. So this is where I'm going to explain what I did wrong in plumbing this tap set here. So I had this bathroom all done. Okay, my video was all recorded. I was ready to to process it, and in the time being, I discovered that I'd made a mistake here, and I discovered it actually quite by accident. And so in the process of using the tub here to clean and get hot water and stuff out of here, it was burping. And so what was happening was I was filling water out of the tub spout, and every once in a while I would get a burp of water coming out of the shower head, and while I was using the tub fill. And it's a good thing I caught this, because if I wouldn't have caught it, once you get the tile and everything on, then I would have had to tear tile off and everything else in order to in order to fix this problem. It wouldn't have manifested itself, especially I usually ruffian, I put the shower arm right away, so the water comes out of there. But there's a device called a handy plug that people will put in there to test, and so I did use that to test it, but then I removed the handy plug and put the that bent arm in there. So if you didn't do that, I mean, you'd never realize that that was burping. You go ahead and get everything finished, all the tile and everything, and then, you know, you go to use it after you're all done, and, you know, oh my God, it's got this burping thing going on. So the control that I'm using, I really like to use the Moen products. You know, they have a lifetime guarantee on their cartridges if you ever have trouble with the cartridge. And the cartridge is this thing right in here. That's what controls everything. That's the mixer valve, it's your diverter, everything is contained in that one spot there. So yeah, so I've taken off this lower panel here of pile backer and opened this up. Now what I have to do here, well, first let me explain what's going on. So what I have here is I stubbed in a copper stub here with a PEX transition from the 1/2" copper to the 1/2" PEX, all right? And then I transitioned again into 1/2" copper here because you need to have a place, you know, to mount your tub spout. And so the way this works is these tub spouts mount on here, and then you have you have to have a diverter. So if you want to use the shower instead of the tub, on this particular model, what you do is you pull up this little knob on the end of the tub spout, and what that does is it creates a restriction, and it causes back pressure on this fill pipe, which goes up into the diverter valve here, and it activates the diverter, and it sends the water up, you know, to the shower head. Now this is where, you know, you have to pay attention to your instructions of whatever valve you're using. I've installed quite a few of these Moens, and successfully. I've had no problems with them. But this time I got a little bit ahead of myself. I'm kind of in a rush here. The guy that did the tub before me here had this thing all made up for me, so I just thought, well, I'll just use that. You know, what's the difference? 1/2" PEX, 1/2" copper. The instructions for this valve are pretty specific, that, you know, you can use PEX or copper or whatever you want for your supply lines and for the shower head, but they say to use copper, you know, for the tub fill. And I've often wondered, like, why? What's the difference? Well, I've discovered it and figured it out, and quite by accident here. So I'll just show you that one of the things that's a problem with PEX is that, you know, although it's 1/2" PEX, when you're fitting, so here's a 90-degree PEX fitting, okay, and compared to a 90-degree copper fitting. So, you know, just look at the difference in the size of the diameter of those two fittings. So your copper fittings go on the outside of your copper, right, and it maintains your 1/2" diameter all the way through, whereas a PEX fitting goes inside of the PEX. Okay, so if that was PEX, it goes inside of the PEX, and you get this restriction. All right. So what is happening here? I have this up here, okay, and then we have this fitting down on the bottom is a fitting like this that again has had another one of these things soldered into it like such. Okay, so this is what's in between the PEX. It's just like this. All right, so we've got a restriction here and we got a restriction here, and what that was doing is that is causing enough of a restriction that it's creating a little bit of back pressure, which is activating the diverter in this cartridge and sending water up there. Not a lot of water. This still worked. You know, the tub still worked, the spout still worked, but it would just, you know, burp it up there until eventually it comes out the top and it comes out. So that's the reason you have to have copper. You need to have a full diameter all the way through from the valve out the tub spout, right? And so that this thing on the tub spout, this is how you have to create your restriction. You know, you do it yourself, all right? Whereas here we're getting the restriction whether we want it or not. So you can see, you know, again, the difference in the diameter there between the two. All 1/2 inch, but quite a difference. You know, this is creating that restriction. So now to fix this, I have to take this out. Okay, I've got to get rid of this piece of PEX, and I'm going to have to put solid copper between the valve and my tub spout. Okay, so I'm going to have to fix that. And I'm going to be using a new fitting. I'm going to have to unsweat this and, you know, get this apart, and then I'll be okay. So another thing that's with the Moen valves is they specify that you have to have no less than 6 inches between the valve and the tub spout, and no more than 11. So you have to be somewhere between 6 and 11, and I'm at 13 here. Okay, this is another bright idea I had. I thought, well, you know, it's nice to have it a little bit higher if you're going to shower in here, especially if you're a taller person. You're not bending down, you know, to adjust the valve. So that means I either have to raise my tub spout 2 inches or bring my valve down 2 inches. I have to close this gap in between here, make it smaller. So yeah, that's you know, the purpose of these videos, folks, is to help you do things yourself, and you know, if you're hiring it done, to you know, sort of keep an eye on things. And you know, here I am. I mean, I do this all the time. I'm a professional at this. I'm not a professional plumber, but you know, I should have known better. But you know, I got in a hurry here and got ahead of myself, and you know, thought I was going to use some parts that somebody else put in, and you know, didn't check with my instructions. I haven't put one of these in for about 3 years since I've done one. So you know, you use it or lose it kind of a thing. So I think I'm going to be taking this out because I have to move it around anyway. So I'm going to take it out of there and unsweat this, and then you know, and then put in all copper in there. Rather than trying to do it in there, you know, you can see I've got wood, I got paneling, I got to get in there with my torch. It's just easier for me to just, you know, snip it, take it out, make the changes, and then, you know, and then put it back in. So so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so folks, okay, so here I go. I'm getting ready to take this out. So I'm gonna do this a bit more detailed. This thing. I know a lot of you like to see the work, and so you know, again, you know, this was a mistake I made. Everybody makes mistakes. You know, I've been doing this a long time. You know, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You know, if you're not learning something, you know, that's all part of life. You know, you learn to do things, and you know, I'm 65 years old, and you know, been doing this kind of stuff for 40 years, and I'm still learning stuff. So you know, you make a mistake, you just fix it, right? So I'm lucky that I caught this mistake, you know, before I got too far with my tiling and taping and all of that. So this PEX cutter, I'm just going to cut these out. Okay, so there you can see all this is. It's got a blade, and you just go in here and just cut the PEX. Okay. And I'm going to cut this out of here. All right. So I'm cutting this fairly close to the ring. What I want to do here is cut it just above, you know, just above the rib there. Now I'm going to be able to reuse all of this. There is a tool and I'll show you that how you remove these rings so you get back to the fitting again, so that you can put the new stuff on. Yeah, and I'll show you that. So I'm probably going to have to move this blocking down here, because I'm going to move this down again. I don't want to raise up the spout here, so that's going to be the best solution, I think. Yeah, so this is a little tool that you use to get your rings off. It just slides in like this. And you just squeeze it, it cuts the ring, and you just go around it. Just like that, and get the ring off, and then usually you have to sort of just go around and cut the plastic a little bit too to let it release. Okay, so just like that. And so now I can crimp back on again with the new pipe. So it just cuts the ring, and then you just kind of bend it out like that. See, I can't pull it off, so got to give it a few more of these, and that just expands the tube a little bit so that it releases off of the fitting, just like that. Okay. This cartridge, you have to remove the cartridge if you're going to solder. So that's another reason that I wanted to take it out, was just in case this gets hot and you'll melt something as far as the PEX goes. But this cartridge just comes out of here. Just take something and there's a little hook there. And you just pull this little pin out. It's a little keeper. All right, and then the cartridge just comes out. Okay, so then all you're left with then is this metal. If you leave this in here, you can see we've got all this plastic and rubber and stuff here. You know, if you heat this up, it would melt this. So you pull this out, you do your soldering, and let it cool, and then you put it back in. Okay, so that piece that I just took out is the part that goes up to the shower head. So I've taken that out now because I'm going to lower my valve. So I'm just going to put a longer piece of tubing in here as well, and I don't have to change the top part of that shower. I can just make my tube fit, since I'm going to lower this in the set. But so now I need to take this. This is actually the tub spout here, so we'll get rid of that. And all I'm doing with this is just trying to get the solder out of there, and that can be the problem when you're unsweating stuff and doing it over again, is trying to get it all back together. It can be fun. Alright, so now I need to cut a longer piece here to go up to connect to my shower, and then I need to build this little thing on the bottom here for the tub. I'm just using a tubing cutter here to cut. This is the piece for the tub spout. Okay, and thing with copper is you got to make sure everything's clean. So after you cut using a tubing cutter, you have a little bit of a burr inside of there. So your tubing cutter has a deburr thing on it. So you just take it like this and just run it inside the pipe to get rid of the burr. And likewise the other end. Okay, and then you have to make sure that your pipe is clean. So you can use sanding cloth. There's a few different ways that you can clean it. I have this little device here. Put the pipe inside of it. Okay, and you just have to get all the copper oxidization off it. You want it nice and clean and shiny. Okay, so you can see how that's been cleaned up. And if you don't do this, it won't stick. The solder won't adhere. Okay, so another way you can do that is with sanding cloth, or using a sanding paper, like this, or this material here, and just it's just sandpaper. Okay, and you can just go like this. Okay, you can see how nice and shiny that is. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead here now, and so this is going to go into the bottom here for my new the tub spout. Okay, and then I have to fit in this fitting right here. Okay, I've got you on the tripod here, hang on. Okay, so then we're going to use this fitting. This fitting is going to go on the bottom here. Okay, and then I have to put the fitting on for the tub spout. This is the part for the tub spout now. Tub spout's going to connect to this. Yeah, so this is really important, folks, that you clean your copper. Okay, if you don't, you're going to get a leak. Okay. Alright, so I've got this one. So this one is clean, so this is going to fit in with my fitting. Okay, so now I take the brush. So this little thing's got it's made for 3/4 and 1/2 inch. So I'm using 1/2 inch. So I'm using 1/2 inch side. So now I'm going to go in here and just going to clean that again. It's already got solder in there, but. Yeah, when I've had to do this before, where I've made mistakes and unsweat, sometimes I have problems there. Alright, so then this is the fitting we're going to use down on the bottom here. So again, you just go in and with this part of the brush, like this. See? And you want to get the inside of it clean. Just take off any oxidization that's in there. Okay, you can see how it's clean compared to that. So this is a brass fitting, bronze, whatever it is, copper. Okay, do this one. Good. All right, and then you have to use flux. Okay, so This is Flux soldering paste, they call it. And so once you get everything cleaned, you take a flux brush and you take this and you want to apply it quite liberally to the inside of all your fittings. And the flux is what makes it flow into the joint. Get it all the way back in there. Okay, and then you do it on your pipe as well. Okay, and then we push it into there. Yeah, this is the tricky part. You see a little bit of solder in there. Okay, and we'll do the inside of the fitting here. So we want to make sure we get the fitting on the correct way, because we want to screw this to the wall. So we don't want to have it this way, right? We want to have this so that we can screw it to our backing in there to hold the spout. Okay, so I'm going to go in here with the flux. Okay, and again on the pipe. Okay, again, folks, disclaimer, I'm not a professional plumber. Just showing you how I do it. If you don't know how to do this, you're not sure about it, hire a professional, because you don't want things to leak on you. This is pretty low risk here. This is you know, it's a tub spout, so there's only water in it when you're filling the tub. Same with the shower. You know, there's only water going up or down when you're actually bathing. These connections here have pressure on them all the time, so you know, you want to make sure that those are good. Okay, now I've cut this a bit long. I can adjust it. I can adjust the length of it once I get it installed there to make sure it's long enough. Now I'm gonna have to be careful here that I get this straight up and down. Okay, I don't want it off to the side, because then my spout will come out of the wall, you know, cockeyed. And so I've screwed this to the table, and you know, sort of got everything you know, laying sort of flat here. And so then, you know, this is going straight up and down, so we want this aligned with the valve so that, you know, things aren't all cockeyed. Okay, so if you see something cockeyed, you know, your tub spout's coming out of the wall, it's because it wasn't soldered together to line up. So we have to be careful about that. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and solder this. And what I've done here is gone, the spec is between 6 and 11, and so what I've done here is I've gone 10, just to be a little bit on the safe side. So I'll have 10 inches now between my spout and my my handle, which is going to lower it down from where it was before. Okay, so once I get this soldered together, then I'll be able to figure out how long to make this to match up with the part that's there. So I'm going to begin by soldering that. we got that one. Let me make sure that I'm straight up and down here. So you notice that I'm heating mainly I'm heating the fitting, and I'm heating on the other side of the fitting, and so then I come in with my solder this way. Okay, I think we're good there. Alright, so I'm gonna let that cool now, and then I'll take it in there and figure out how long I have to make this tube, and then bring it back out and then solder this piece on to join up to my shower head again. Okay, so I've got the tub spout on there, and now I need to make the connection here on the shower side to connect to the shower head. And so I cleaned these pipes. I'm just kind of making this a random length here. I can adjust the length of the PEX. It's easier to do that than to try and just determine the length of this copper exactly. So again, just going through the process here of cleaning, fluxing. It's a little tight, so I'm going to have to push that in once it gets heated up. It's tight because of the old solder in there. That was a joint that I unsweated. Okay. So what I'm using here for soldering, I just have this little Burns-O-Matic thing. You can buy these at the hardware store, and then I like to use MAP gas. So you can use propane, but MAP just burns a little bit hotter than propane, and it's the gas that I like to use. It's all that is readily available to do-it-yourselfers, DIYers. So I'm going to heat this up now, push the pipe in, and then I'll solder it. fully seated. So we'll let that cool, and then we'll put it back inside, back in the wall. That's all ready to attach now back to the pecs. Okay, so I got my thing all made up here now. So I've got my tip spout, and this goes up to the shower. So I'm going to go ahead and nail this in. So I had to move my blocking a little bit to make this work with the new layout. Actually, I don't need those long screws. Using a 2.5 inch. So these valves are marked up, so you make sure you get up, up. And this little bracket, you can see it. Let's tip it down a little bit here. Okay, so this bracket here is screwed on to the wood there, and that's what keeps you coming out straight. It helps to keep you coming out straight so you're not off. And so now you can see I've got this screwed back in. So on my hot side now, I just have to trim my pecs down to here. Same thing on the cold, just trim this down to here. And same thing with my one at the top with the shower. Okay, so here you can see it's long, so I'll cut that off there and then get ready to crimp this on. These are these copper crimp rings. They're black, but they're actually copper. They're kind of hard to get on. Oh man. They're really hard to get on for some reason. Okay, there, that one's right. Oh. With this one. Okay, there, that's better. And so you see it has to crimp onto these ribs here. There's 3 ribs on the fitting. And so you set that down about 1/8 of an inch or so. That's about all there is. You want to push the pipe up tight. And about 1/8 of an inch. It's not precise, but you want to see, you want this ring to be crimping on at least 2 of the ribs. What? Okay, there you go. Okay. Right, and then I have this crimping tool. I actually have a couple of crimping tools. This is the one that I use for tight spots like this. And so it's just a clamping action. You just put this over the ring and it clamps. So you want to be nice and square with the ring, and you want to do it in one shot. You don't want to be messing around with this. You want one nice squeeze to clamp it on there. Okay, just like that. Okay, so I have a bigger set that's easier, longer handles, so it makes it easier to squeeze, but it wouldn't fit in here. So we just get that on the crimp ring. You want to make sure that you're sort of square and everything as much as you can. Squeeze it. Okay, you don't want to be squeezing and squeezing, going back one squeeze, that's it. Okay, let me get this one up on top here. Okay, all of our connections are made. Now you can see I put my 2 copper bands back on there, so this is nice and solid now. This is tight. Like I said before, I don't like these tap sets that wiggle around on you. All right. Okay, so you notice the cartridge is still out. I took that out, I pulled that out while I was doing the soldering so that none of this would melt. This is the cartridge here. And so I'll give you a closer look at it. This is a Moen cartridge. And so this is your mixer valve and your diverter all in one here. And yeah, now I can put it back in because everything is cool. And I'm ready to put that back in. And it just pushes in just like this. like that, and then all I do is just slide the little retainer clip in, which is right here, and that's what holds it in. And so now I'm ready to put the tap back on and turn the water on and see if we have any leaks. Okay, so this is the water main that I have shut off for the whole house, and so now I'm going to turn it on since I've done that plumbing work. And when you do this, you don't want to slam it on, you just want to open it gently at first and let the pipes refill. So I flushed the toilet, so got to fill the toilet. Okay. Okay, so I'm ready to turn the water back on there. Try it. No leaks so far. So I'm going to, might be some air in the line. Yeah, that's hot. Alright folks, so that's how it should look with the mowing anyways. So you can see we've got the full copper in there now, no restrictions. It's half inch all the way through. So now we're not building up that back pressure that is causing the diverter to burp that we had with those PEX fittings in there. Alright. Alright, so my little room is coming right along here, folks. I've got my tile backer all installed. And the tile backer that I like to use is a product called Den Shield. So that's it right there. It's a gypsum-based product, but it's wrapped in fiberglass, and it's really easy to work with. Really do-it-yourself friendly. I've used it for years, and I have had no problem with it. It has a limited lifetime warranty in the residential application, so it's a really good stuff for under tile. And I just use regular drywall throughout the rest of it here, so kind of can see where I'm at with that. Okay, and I've got my plumbing fixtures, the rough-ends finished on that, so that's good enough now until we go put tile on that. Down here I've got my valve ready to go, so when I start the back bathroom, I'll be moving that toilet and stuff up here, and then this will become my bathroom that I'm going to use. And so that is all ready to connect my toilet up.
I'm just going to be using the old toilet. I won't put the new one in until we're finished. And I just made a loop here for that hose bib outside that I was telling you about. This is just a temporary solution right now, just to get water in it and test it. And then I've capped the hot. So you know, I will have hot and cold water to this bathroom, to this bathtub. So you know, I'll be able to take my hot and cold water out of here for washing and stuff. Now, next little thing I'm going to do in here is I'm building this little bulkhead here, or valance, or whatever you want to call it. It's called different things different places. But all I've done there is just take, I'm dropping it down the depth of a 2x6, so 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to drywall that, and then I'm going to be installing a recessed lamp in that to shine down over top of the vanity here. And so this little bulkhead here just gives it a little bit of interest in this room, so it's just not so plain looking. And this is the lights. These are the lights I'm going to use. It's a product called Baz. I think you can get these. I can't remember where I got these. I think I got them online. I'm not sure. This is them. It's an LED. Comes in a little box of 4, so I'm going to be using one of them. And these are really simple to install. All you do is hook up this little module here. So wire that. So that's going to get wired into that wire that I have dangling down there. And I'm switching that with the main light, so they'll come on at the same time. And then, yeah, I'll show you once I get this installed. But all there is to it is just this. It's so simple. You know, back in the old days, we had those big cans and stuff that we had to, you know, frame in, and it was a pain. But this is the lamp. This is the lamp here, and yeah, it's very simple. Everything's falling down on me here. But they're dimmable. Yeah, it's a nice product. Really easy to install. Again, it's another do-it-yourselfer kind of thing that's you know, really easy to work with. So now I'm going to drywall that, and then I'll wire up the lamp, and I'll show you when I'm done with that. All right, folks. So that's as far as we're going to go in this bathroom now. We're ready for taping and joint filling. So that will be kind of the next thing up in here, and that's what I'm working towards now, is getting ready for my my joint filling, and then ultimately paint. So this is how it's kind of finished up in here. I've got my toilet moved up from the back. This is just a temporary toilet to use while we're under construction here. But yeah, this is kind of how it's come together. We've got our little valance with our little recessed lamp. And you can see there's going to be our vanity is laid out, so the toilet sits nicely in between there now. It's nice and centered. And something I mentioned to you, that when you install, you know, your drain and your overflow and your tub spout and your tap set and your shower head up above, you want to have that all lined up in a center line. Okay, now I'll show you. So I've got water in here now. This is all working. I've tested it all. Everything's connected. So I've got hot and cold up here now. So I can use the tub to wash. I'll just show you how it came together on the other side here. So this is the drain side of the bathtub. So there you can see how I connected to the stub that I had stubbed out there and put in the new P-trap, and then there's the drain, and this is the overflow, and then the pipes going up to the faucet set, and there's my water to my hose bib outside, the tap outside. So yeah, that's kind of how that's come together. And now I've got my you know, I'm also working on the plumbing here at the same time. And so here I you know, when I roughed out, stubbed out, I mentioned that to you before, with the PEX to this point here. And so now I have opened up the floor here, and I've run 3/4 inch pipe. And so that's an upgrade from what was here originally. Originally it was just 1/2 inch. So now we've got better water flow through there. So my 3/4 inch, I just pull it underneath
through these openings that I made. So here you can see I cut another opening in the floor, and I had another one there and another one there, and this one here I actually had done before, and then I opened up there for the sink. So so you can see the space that you have to you know, to pull the pipes through there. So you know, this is that main heat duct that runs along from the furnace, and so you know, there's a space here, and you could just follow, you know, you just push your pipes through that space. All right, so that's my 3/4 inch hot and cold, and then I teed off here with 1/2 inch to my sink over here. This is my kitchen sink, which is going to be centered underneath the kitchen window here. So I've got my my hot and my cold stubbed up, and then I also ran in a line here for the ice maker in the fridge. So that I've just come underneath. Okay, and here you see it over here, right there, and it comes back over to here. So this is where the fridge is going to sit. So this just comes up, and then that gives us a place to connect the ice maker and water in the fridge. The fridge is going to sit there. Okay, and so eventually, when this all gets finished, this is going to be tied in with the cold line, and there will be a valve in here. Again, I like to isolate everything, so there'll be a valve here so that if something happens in the fridge that you need to shut off the water, you can just shut it off here, and it's not going to affect anything else. And then also here we have another hose bib that's coming into this area here, and it's going to be connected with the cold line here as well. Okay, so you can see this has all been changed now to PEX. Here you can see underneath there we've got 3 PEX lines, so we got our hot and cold 3/4 inch going to the front of the home, and then we got a 1/2 inch for the fridge. And then back here is kind of where it all starts. So on the other side of this is the hot water tank, and so you know, when I did this area and the utility area, the hot water tank and all that, you know, I brought this all down and prepared this for you know, for when I got to this point. So there's my 2 supply lines coming down out of that utility area. So that's the main hot and the main cold. And so then we tee in, and we're going that way to the front of the home, and then we're going this way to the back of the home. Okay, and I don't know if you can see it, but down in there, that's the hot and cold for the laundry set, which is right here. Okay. So now at this point, we have, you know, worked together with that bathroom at the front. We've got our utility area, our laundry area, refrigerator, kitchen, and that front bathroom now all have new PEX lines. Okay, so that poly B has been taken out, and here you can see my bucket of cut up poly B. All right, so this is what I'm pulling out. Now I'm not getting it all out. I mean, some of it you just can't get it all out because it gets hung up, but it's all disconnected. There's no poly B disconnected anymore. But I tried, no poly B connected anymore. So it's all been disconnected, but and not necessarily all out. And it doesn't matter, it can stay in there. So here you can see, you know, all of our new PEX, and this is the main water line coming in right there from underneath the home, and I showed you that previously, and how we have the heat tape and all that. So now I'm stubbed out to this point, and I'm going to go ahead now and you know, do that bathroom. I'm going to tear this all apart next. That's the next job. But then I will be, you can see there's still some old poly B still there, which is feeding that bathroom, but that's going to get all at this point we're going to connect to and run underneath the floor here to you know, to run the water into here. And yeah, we got quite a mess in here. We got lots to go on, lots going to go on in the next video. We're going to be putting in a pocket door here, where you can see we've got some old moldy drywall here. It's we're going to deal with all of that, and we're going to change this plumbing around in here and make it neater and tidier. We have a pipe that's out here, so yeah, we're going to get rid of all that. I'm going to show you how to do all of that. And this old tub shower combination unit is coming out of here,
and we're going to replace that with a new shower. So, okay folks, so yeah, that's it. If you are enjoying this and want to see what I do in the next bathroom over there at the end, stay tuned for our next video coming up. It will be up soon, and we'll just keep going on the process of fixing up this old home here. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.